shit.
Andalusia Marine, located in Andalusia, Alabama, your express, all-wheel stick steering, Polarcraft, Starcraft, Veranda pontoon dealer. One call heating, air, and refrigeration, Mr. Stephen Dubb, air conditioning guy you can trust. RMC Mechanical Contractors, located in Chelsea, Alabama. Give us a call for all your industrial contracting needs. Styler Arms, located in Bessemer, Alabama. You can also pick these rifles up at Simmons Sporting Goods. That is a Steyr Scout in that picture. I've been hunting with a pro hunter for about 30 years, guy. One of the finest rifles made. Pick one up today, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Alpha Plumbing, Mr. D. Robinson. He's been with us since day one. Call him for any of your plumbing needs, a plumbing guy you can trust. CT Ward Power Sports, Camden, Alabama on Highway 28. Your Excel center console, side console, golf your pontoon, Hustler Lawnmower, and Mercury and Yamaha service dealer. Power Brakes. If you want to get your total boat control under control, get you a set of these. Give old Chad Clifton a call. www.mypowerbrakes.com. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, he started off the little pre-show, guys.
Yeah.
We're still laughing. We got to go back. We're sorry. Luckily, nobody was live when all that went on. Thank God. So, oh man, that was funny. Us three get to talking, guys. Us four, excuse me. It gets crazy, man. I wish you could be a fly on the wall, but man, we have a good time. Welcome to CrappieKast, as always. John and Jessica Farmer right there, and old Mr. Shilo Shoppell up there in the top corner. We've been enjoying each other's conversation. We usually get about 15 minutes or 20 minutes before the show, and we got to cutting up.
Yeah, just to remove the PG-13 from
You're like 60 seconds in, and we're done. PG.
It was. Hey, anyway, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in here, guys. I got let's see, Jeff Van Sickle. Good evening, buddy. David Bailey, Keith Spencer, Dace Giddens on YouTube. Mr. Blake McDaniel, Michael Sands, Rusty Pearson, Carl Dillman. I appreciate all y'all tuning in, man. It seems like these Thursdays keep getting faster and faster. I know we had some crappy weather, and it's been. Shilo said today was the first day you got to go to work up there where you are, didn't Shilo?
Finally. I mean, we've been iced in. My boat didn't get that much ice on it in Illinois.
Yeah, we have some crappy. People don't understand. They're like, of course, people can't drive down here. Don't get me wrong, but we get this ice.
You guys can't drive for crap.
Wait a minute now, Shilo. You said you identified as an Alabamian now, so you.
I am, but I still know how to drive like an Illinoisan.
Oh man.
Hey, $10. What is it? $10 per snowman?
Yeah. Shilo giving snowman lessons up how to build a snowman.
That's awesome. I hear you, old. Let's see. Corey Williams said kids been at home too long. Yeah, they have. They got more off days here. It's unreal. How much time they've had off? I guess Creek wasn't off that much, was he, John?
They were off. Yeah, they got a day. For yesterday. So yesterday, and then he was out for the holiday Monday, and
John still put him to work. Don't lie.
Do what, buddy?
I said John still put him to work.
Man, I gotta brag. I gotta really brag on Creek. Now, if you ask him to do something, that's to 100%, and he'll work. He'll get it now. Except cleaning his room. Anything besides cleaning his room.
I know John and we caught them 70-something fish or whatever we caught, and he said, Creek, get in there and get them. And hey, Creek jumped right on there and got every one of them out of there.
Yeah.
He sure did, man. Let's see. We'll answer a few questions, then we're going to let Shilo go into his tournament, the Alabama Crappie Trail Day was just at Gunnersville. So, but we were actually talking, and John was like, hey, man, this is good information. You're going to have to shut it off because we get to talking about stuff, and everybody's like, hey, hold up. So somebody asked about what color jig. Let me see it. Jeff Van Sickle. What are your – I know what John's answer is, but Shilo, what is your favorite color jigs to use in the cold or muddy water?
So I still like to keep it small. That 32nd or 64th, I'll use that pink and green. It's not
That's
really
right.
chartreuse. It's the green or brown and yellow. I did pull a little John trick out of the book this week. I stayed with my monkey milk, even though it was muddy. As long as I could get them to see it, they'd eat it sometimes.
You're exactly right. I mean, I'm learning that myself. It was stained last weekend, Sunday at Lake Talcon, real stained, as a matter of fact. And I threw that gray ghost, and then I picked up that black and chartreuse, and started popping them. So, but let's go into your pre-fishing, Shilo, and what happened during the tournament, and things what you done, and what you could do different stuff.
Well, there's a lot of things I could have done different.
I understand.
Moving earlier would have been one of them, but pre-fishing. So Guntersville's been real tough the last month and a half. John knows. I've been talking to him about it. I mean, I probably went 6 times before the week of the tournament. It's right here in my backyard, and I probably only caught maybe 15 fish. And that's usually, if I see them, I catch them. I haven't seen them, so I didn't have real high hopes going into it until I seen that rain in the forecast. So we had all that rain. I believe it was Monday. That Monday, I think we got just right about 2 inches of rain here. And I fished Wednesday, and parts of the lake muddied up. The main river channel muddied up, and the very, very, very back of the creek started to muddy up. Thursday was a different story. Thursday, the river channel was clean, and the creeks were muddy. And they've been pulling a lot of water, doing a lot of different stuff, but we didn't find a whole lot Wednesday. Thursday, I kind of just ran around. I checked the Town Creek Bridge first thing because it was muddy and there were some big floaters hanging around there. I got 2 to eat. One was a 180. The other one was right at 2.
Explain to everybody what you're calling a floater, Shilo, because a lot of people don't know the lingo.
So we're sitting out. How deep is it out front of there, John? Probably 40 feet right in front of the bridge?
Yeah, right. I mean, in that swing right there, yeah.
So the ditch is probably 40 feet, but I was only fishing. I noticed on Thursday our fish would only, if they were like up high on the surface, they wouldn't eat. They were down too deep, they wouldn't eat. But the floaters I was calling were between 9 and 12 feet under the surface. There was a lot of fish 2 feet, 5 feet under the surface, but they wouldn't react on the bait. So all I did was fish in that 9 to 12 foot range. So those were the floaters I was looking for. I wasn't looking at any structure, grass, stumps, laydowns. I didn't look at any of it, mainly because I hadn't caught any fish off structure. And that's pretty much what I did. I didn't fish Friday because they called for high winds and rain, so I wasn't getting out there in that mess. And
that lake's dangerous when that wind gets up.
It's rough. Tim found that out pretty good Saturday morning. I was like, they were calling for a west wind at 5 to 10. They got it wrong. It was about 25 first thing in the morning, and we put in at Short Creek and ran around the town. And we hung the corner there in Town Creek, and I looked over at Tim, and he's covered from head to toe in ice from spray. Kevin Hicks is behind me. He's telling me I'm crazy. I mean, I couldn't bump my trim at all on my motor without coming out of the water. So I got back there, and it was just rough. I mean, the lake had cleared up several inches, which I don't know why. But we had all that rain Friday, and Town Creek went from 3 to 4 inches of visibility to 12 to 16 inches of visibility.
Yeah. Was you dead sticking these or casting these fish while you using long rods? Corey was asking. I just seen him ask.
The heavy wind made it tough to cast first thing in the morning, and I wanted to fish out in front of the bridge, but I kind of got stuck fishing behind it first thing. So I was long rodding about the first hour and a half, 2 hours, setting it on their nose. And when I would set it on their nose and get them to react, they just didn't want it coming up in the column. They wanted to just kind of follow behind it. So I would just, when I got one to look, I'm running around on 6 or 7 on my trolling motor, I would drop it down to 1 or 2, and I would just kind of keep bumping my trolling motor and keeping that bait horizontal with them, having them follow it, and they come up and bite. And then once the wind died down, I got out in front of that bridge, I started casting. They wouldn't touch a long pole after that for me.
So you had to start casting to them.
Hey, I'll get after them with casting.
I know you will. Hey, ever since the Alabama River, you've been casting and casting. I mean,
I'm getting dangerous with it.
What's your setup? Is it 4-pound line still on this rod you're using?
I was switching back and forth. I was running 4-pound K9 with a 6/8 Outlaw on one of my rods, and the other one I was running 10-pound braid down to a 2-pound leader and casting that.
2? Did you say 1, 2?
2-pound line, yeah.
Like some trout fishing going on here.
What was that rod again that you were casting with?
That was the 6/8 Outlaw. I've been playing with it. Tim put it in my hand a couple weeks ago, and it works good. I like it.
There you go.
I still have a couple casting rock Jinkos on the deck, but mainly I'm picking that Outlaw up.
Good deal, bud. Hey,
go ahead, John.
What you were talking about colors today? Everybody gets in the hell about using the monkey milk all the time, but today all day long was a platinum.
Really? I forgot to tell y'all. Yeah. I'm glad you said that. That's what I called them on, John. A pink head and platinum. That's what I used in Talcott. Sure did.
Steve at Limit Cycles got that platinum color, and I mean it's a silvery looking shad color, and I used it all day today. Matter of fact, I caught between I'd say 70 and 80 fish today, and I might have went through 3 plastics.
He was texting me pictures this morning. I'm just I'm trying to work.
Yeah, Shane's cussing me.
I only want to.
That is one thing I did do different. So my long rod, I was running that 64. I put a straight white on there, and I keep a scented colored marker in my boat. I took the yellow one and just colored the bottom of it just to give them a little bit of something to look at. But it faded out by 10 o'clock, I think. The amount of fish that were behind that bridge blows me away.
That's what I heard.
I mean, the amount of 2-pound fish, and that's what I was talking about. I should have moved earlier. Is I had another creek that wasn't far from there, and I was trying to stay in the muddy water. That's what I found Thursday. If I could find mud.
Somebody was just asking that. Jacob Alcorn was like, so are you avoiding the muddy water or seeking it? And so go on and finish that. So
a lot of guys are scared of muddy water. I'm one of them that if I find it, I'm going into it, and I'm going all the way. That's what I really, really like. And when I got in there, I noticed if you got in the muddy water, the fish were roaming. They were up high, moving around. And I found it one other spot on the lake. After I found that Thursday, I ran every creek from Honeycomb all the way to North Salty, Goose Pond area looking for dirty water. I found it 2 of them. So I did that, and the other creek I seen just enough fish, and that's what makes it's hard to go with your gut. You're seeing 4 or 5 big fish. That 5th one's kind of looking, but he doesn't eat. Every now and then you do get it to eat. When do you decide to make that move to your other area? So I kind of got caught up in it. I should have told Tim to smack me upside the head, but I didn't.
Yeah, Tim's tuned in here. He what else was? While we're talking about the platinum, Angel Mike Neese was asking about the platinum. What profile is it? That's the go ahead.
It's like a stinger profile. It's called stinger.
That's what it is.
Hey, Shilo, Tim said all his down snacks flew out of the boat. You was driving so crazy that
crazy my tail.
He said snacks was gone.
So he forgot he had a whole box of honey buns in my back rod locker. And at 8 o'clock, he goes, "I'm hungry." I said, "If you can chisel them out, you can get them," because all my lids were froze. I mean, I didn't get in my center rod box until 10:30 that morning.
That's miserable.
Whatever was on my rods, that's what I had to use. So here's the best part about Tim. I'm chasing this big fish around. We got minnows just in case. And this fish looked at a jig 3 or 4 times and said, "All right, hand me a minnow." And I picked up another rod, stayed with this fish. He hands me Shamu. This minnow is probably 4.5 inches long. And I'm like, I said, I tried a 64th on her. Do you really think she's going to eat a 4.5 inch shad? Not going to happen. He said, "That's right." I said, "Just cut her head off and give it to
her." He gave you one you can start pulling drag with, huh?
I can hear Tim right now. Well, that's the first one I grabbed.
That's exactly what happened. He opened that minnow bucket and was like, It's cold. That one looks good. Grabbed it. I seriously opened my hand thinking I was going to get like a 3-inch minnow, 2.5-inch minnow. No, this minnow was from one side of my hand to the other. I'm like, oh, that ain't going to work.
You think they having fun during these tournament days? I guarantee you, Tim's entertaining.
He was back there chiseling the rod locker, trying to get honey buns out.
Priorities.
Hey, he's a cookie monster, no doubt. I mean, he is a cookie monster.
He comes up out of that trash can. He's getting him some cookies.
Yeah, I kept him in beef jerky when he fished with me in that tournament.
Well, he turned with me. I just go to the ramp and I forget everything snack wise. So if he don't bring snacks, he's just gonna be drinking bottled water all day and eating grass.
Oh, yeah. He'd be angry. Hey, Mike, go ahead, John.
I'd go in the beef jerky bag. I didn't even ask him anymore. I'd be like, I just hand him 2 beef jerky sticks. I didn't even ask him anymore. I knew.
Old snack pack Tim. Hey, on Mike Hill down there in Demopolis, he's asking, he said, for the weekend fishermen, what lake or the time of the year would you recommend they go catch limits? I guess, he's wanting the best opportunity, to go catch him some limits. I guess he's talking about any time of the year, so the spring or whatever. What do you think, John, Shilo?
Sure. Now, I mean,
yeah.
Well, here's the deal. Different lakes are fished differently, of course, but right now, if the water could clear up a little bit, these fish are wanting to feed because they're getting fattened up for the spawn. So if you can get to a lake where you got schooling fish, and from now until the end of February, but they're eating for a reason. They want to get fattened up because they know they're going to lose weight during the spawn. And if you can get to where, like I said, where there's some schooling fish from now to the end of February, that would be what I'd say.
Go ahead, Shilo.
I'd extend it a little bit as far as up here at least, November all the way through end of April, just to go catch a bunch of eaters. Because April, you got the sunshine, you got the warmth, they're going up to spawn, get on beds, and you can literally pull up on one lay down and catch a limit of 30, 10 to 12-inch fish. That's how it is. And, November, you get them out on those river channel ledges, and you pull up on one tree and find a school and have 15, 20, and you find 3 or 4 of those a day, you got a mess for the freezer. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mike lives right there in Demopolis. I kept 45 down there the other day, and I didn't fish hard at all. I had 2 guys with me. He's right there in the middle of it. The main river's been holding a lot of fish, and the water's back down, so it ought to be excellent down there right now, Mike. Demopolis.
Shane, everybody talks about what season it is. It's about to be high floater season.
High floater, he said.
And high floater season is one of the best seasons of the year. Like today, the high floaters, the real high were white bass where I was at. But when those crappies start getting up and the water's cold and they get like 2 feet to sometimes even a foot under the surface when that water's warming up, those fish that you catch in that upper part of the water column, they normally are going to do the deal if you show them the bait. I mean, it's not where, hey, I flatlined the fish, it didn't eat. Normally, you can't screw it up type situation. They're going to eat. Say you're in 13, 14, 15 foot of water and they're up there at 3 feet or above or 4 feet or above. Those fish, like I said, I don't know, it's high floater season. I'm gonna start that one.
we got a taste of that Thursday or Wednesday on Gunnersville. A taste of it. I caught one. I had Tim in the boat. I caught one literally. She rolled on it on the surface, smacked it, flung her right in. She was 6 foot of water, 1.5 foot deep, maybe. But when she noticed it, she followed up to the surface, and smacked it on the surface.
Yeah, Mike Flo was talking about the water's down at Demopolis. The dam's busted. Somebody sent me a video as we were starting the show, and I didn't. Scott Dees did. I haven't watched it, but I did see where it's busted. But I look at that water level down there, Mike. If it's 76, 77, I'm ready to go, buddy. I promise you.
Tim's being funny on text.
Oh,
Hey,
Tim.
what are y'all talking about? The dam's busted.
The dam, the dam's got a big old hole in it. Like I don't know if it's. I didn't get to watch the video, John, because I cut my. There's Scott right there. I don't know. It's
John, you remember when I was saying we're gonna blow the dam on Old Hickory? That's probably what happened. Somebody blew the dam on Demopolis.
Well, the water didn't get that high in Demopolis. It got to 81 or 82. 75's full pool, so it's been way higher than that. So I just seen a section of it was blowed out. I seen a video.
Wow.
And,
somebody just had enough and blew it out.
Probably so. Hey, that water's just right, Mike. My boat's in Florida. I'm headed down there tomorrow night. But I'd be down there for sure. I don't care if it's cold or not. I would be down there. I'd be braving it, I promise. It's going to get super cold here. I guess the high up here Saturday's 28. So, whoo.
I'm about done with this bull crap.
Yeah, it's about to be done.
I moved away from it. Follow it.
You brought this shit down here, Shilo.
I did. I'm not even going to deny that one. Oof.
Well, it got cold last Christmas. It got real cold. It was 4 degrees last Christmas.
I know. I brought it with me.
No, that was two. I think that was 2 Christmases ago.
No,
I think it was last Christmas. It got so cold. Yes.
Yeah, our first Christmas down here. So yeah, you're welcome.
It was last Christmas. It got real cold. Yeah.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, John.
It's all that global warming.
our free trial of Alaska every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Man, Scott's saying it's going to take 2 months to fix, and tugboats are all tied up. I didn't think about that. There's no. Oh man, that is messed up. I didn't think about that.
I bet you it was a runaway board.
Oh no, there's no telling. Lock gate failure. That's what it says. Jason Eisenhower, thank you, man. He said it's a lock gate failure. Not sure exactly what failed, but water is rushing under the upper gate. I've seen that. The video was the middle of the dam. Thank God the water was higher. It really would be low. Like you said, it'd be really low.
Ooh, it's gonna be. We it's called for rain all next week. I hope that that's gonna be tough on them.
Yeah, I don't know how they fix those dams like that because I don't. Because hey, they need to go get some Flex Seal and put on that thing and we'll.
It'll hold it.
Oh goodness.
New
man. Let's see. I'm glad we'll get off the busted dam, but I did see that video. I need to share it with on my page. I will. Let's see if I missed any questions, guys. I know we've been laughing and cutting up.
For John, how long did it take for those fish to get on the steak beds?
Oh yeah. John just got through building a bunch of steak beds. Tell everybody about that, John, while I'm looking.
We got access to some steaks. All right, so people, I didn't realize a lot of people don't know what steaks are. A steak is basically a 2x2 piece of wood. All right, and we'll drive them into the mud, and each location we're putting about 30 of them down with a driver we got that goes, I don't know. I'm trying to put them. I'm not saying what depth. I'm glad I caught myself. But we try to put them in a certain depth of water, but drive them in the mud. We're putting about 30 steaks in each location. So we Jessica and I have put 150 steaks on the boat, and we did 30 per place and made about 5 spots on one leg, 5 spots on another leg. Well, my friend Wade, Wade Cole, he came Monday, and he brought his little boy, and I had Crete. They're off for the holiday, and we drove some steaks in 5 different locations. Well, I checked 3 of them today and caught fish off the 3 that I put out Monday.
Really?
And now, that's pretty amazing.
Well, so, that goes to tell the location you put them.
Okay.
You sent me a picture, and I went, and I was like, oh, they're going to be all over that,
Yeah.
But tell everybody how you tricked Jessica. You was talking about steaks. She thought she was getting a somebody asked right here.
So I kept talking about steaks. Go ahead.
I thought we were going to get real steaks.
Oh goodness.
But no, it's work, and driving steaks. You're getting wet. There's no way around it because you're driving a steak, and then there's water coming up the pole, and then it's going all up your arm and it go down your sleeve, and there's nothing dry about it. So you want to do it in semi. I'd say at least 50 degrees or above.
Yeah, you don't want to be out there in butt cold freezing. I've done it too, and I was soaked. Somebody's asking which. It's Demopolis Dam. Robin Simmons just busted, buddy, down there in Demopolis.
Best part about it, Shane, was I was on the phone with John this afternoon. He said, "How long do you think takes them fish get on them steaks?" I said, "Well, if I put a new recliner in your living room, you gonna test it out?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Come on, them fish are gonna go check it out."
Well,
where he put it, excellent. You know, John don't want to give away where he put it, and I don't blame him really.
Well,
but
I put them, you know, where I'd already been catching fish, and
that's the number one tip too.
Location, 90% of it.
But what's funny about steaks is you got to look. Those fish will get down in the bottom of those steaks. You've seen it. Everybody's seen it for those fish steak beds. It's like they sink down in the steaks, and you got to look for that little anomaly, especially if the steaks are thick.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to, you know, it's kind of a long pole game if you can get up close enough. You know, I'm sure later on in the year they'll get, you know, at the top of them, but right now they're just buried down in there. And I saw the first one I came up on. I saw the fish. I was like, surely not. I mean, Monday. Just put them out Monday.
You made the video, didn't you? Post it on your page, John?
I did.
I thought you did.
Well, Jessica helped me on Sunday, and then my buddy Wade helped me on Monday, and I said, surely not. And I shoved that jig down that son of a gun, and bam! I said, holy crap! But and I've had other brush piles, you know, come back relatively quickly, and they ought to be fish on them. Here's the thing: people ask me, and I get questions from doing this show, and people are like, where do I need to put my brush? Where do I need to put stuff? The ledges are good. Ledges and off the ledges are always good.
How much of a drop was that picture you sent me, John? Drop wise, you know?
It wasn't much, but I drove those steaks where it just barely was coming up the ledge. But here's the deal: you'll swear in some places that it's going to be great, and it'll never turn out.
You're exactly right,
John.
Do what?
John told me one to check on the Alabama River, and I went in there and checked it. I'm like, oh my gosh, they should be here all year, no matter what time. They should be here. I was talking to John about it.
Was that a hidey hole that I put that stuff in, or was that a?
It's a legit hidey hole, and it's right off the river channel. And you're like, they should live in this bed. No, John's like, I've never seen fish on it.
Hey, was you catching whitefish or blackfish today out of the state beds you built, John?
All white. I caught whites out of the states.
Tony Tucker was asking there.
Well, so let me give y'all a synopsis, kind of how the day went. Here, the water is super muddy. I mean, it's like Grenada bringing the water up muddy.
Yeah, it's like the color of cardboard. I mean,
right.
So I think we need to switch lakes. You can have Gunnersville, and I'll take your lake.
Okay. Well, so when that muddiness happens to the water, it spreads the fish out. So you know, instead of casting over a school or threes or four, you're dealing with one set of eyes. So you got to be real precise and hold it dead on the fish. And today I did something I never liked to do. I used a long pole, and Shiloh's gonna laugh. I knew Shiloh, but
I love it.
Hey, you had to sit there and put it directly on the fish, and once they saw it, it was game over. But
what's your setup, John? Let's describe your setup. Since you went long poling,
I want to hear it.
All right, I'm using that long that 14-foot outlaw, and I've got a 1/4 ounce limits tackle jig head, and I had that little stinger, 2-inch stinger platinum limits tackle plastic on there. And I just, like I said, once they saw it, it was a good deal. I didn't run anything above it. I was just pulling that 1/4, and I was catching blackfish and whitefish on it.
So they were lighting that thing up then, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was just working.
just shows there's 100 different ways to catch them.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
you know,
exactly
right.
I never ever.
You're
ever
running a 1/4 ounce with a 14. You know, you probably could have used a 1/2 ounce down to a 32nd, 64th. You probably could have set a 16th on them. You could have caught them any way you wanted. And
I hate using a heavy jig head, but you know, getting it down quick and
Big
all that.
I think, John, if you can get away with it, that's what you get away with. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm gonna go with it, and if it don't work, then I'm gonna start downsizing. Because like, if I can get them to smoke a 16th without having to go throw a 32nd, you know, if I don't have to leave it in the school as far as schooling fish, you know, I like to catch them on a 32nd, but it's a lot slower presentation, and you know.
Shane, it's like I talked to Shilo yesterday. I fished a lake that's just right by here, and I couldn't get them to eat anything but a 16th, and I was having to walk it down to 16 feet. A 16th ounce jig down to 16 feet, that's a pain in the butt. But today, I went to another lake, same conditions, dirty water, and, you know, that they would do it. So I'm like, hey, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it, bud. Here we go.
Yeah, that's what action is that rod? I got one back here behind me. It's not super stiff like a Todd Huckabee, but what action is that thing? That outlaw. And I don't even know either. I guess I could read on it behind me here.
Charlotte, what were you about to say? I think I interrupted you, Charlotte. You know, I missed. I don't know. They put an action on the long poles. I don't.
No, it just says sensitive. That's all it says on it. But it's Angel Mike. It's a. I'm sure it's Mike, but it's got a good backbone to it. I mean, you can swing some fish with it. So.
That 14-footer, I boat flipped some fish over the top of the graph, some over 2-pound fish over the top of the graph with it.
Yeah, that's a great rod. Yeah, it is. It has a good backbone and stuff.
I'm gonna test one out before you know. I'll let you know if I can break it or not.
Yeah, give it a shot. Give it a shot,
Shilo, you destructive like Shane and I are. So
yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. We're hard on stuff, man.
When I say I set a rod down on the deck of the boat, I don't set it down. That's how I do it right there. That's how Jessica dropped her phone.
She caught it. She caught it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't catch it though. I just let it go, and usually Tim would take care of it, and I'll just pick another rod up.
There you go. CNC Outdoors is asking a good question. And what time of day do y'all find better to catch the big ones?
I like low light conditions. Just personally.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I like when it's bright, the sun comes out, and it seems like it brings them, you know, this time of year when it's cold water, you know.
If I say low light conditions, I mean first thing in the morning when if that sun is shining, but I try to position my boat where I'm looking into the sun. I don't ever want to cast that shadow at that fish. John,
right.
you guys probably know what I'm talking about. You know, if you get that sun behind you, you're casting that shadow at that fish. So when that fish is up in the surface or he's chasing your bait towards your boat, when he hits that shade line, he knows it. He feels the difference. He feels that temperature difference, whether you've been sitting there 5 minutes or 25 minutes. He feels that difference. He's going to be like, whoa, something's wrong here. Now, if you keep your boat facing into the sun, when that fish is coming, he never knows anything's there unless you bump your trolling motor or somebody takes a footstep in the boat. But
you're absolutely right, Shilo. And people don't realize it, but the shadow of your boat can spook a fish, you know.
Big time.
Yeah.
I think some of them run up under to get under the boat.
Yeah,
to get out of the sun. I've seen that happen a bunch.
I think shadows and footsteps scare them the most.
And little kids stomping.
Hey, Mike was asking about this action, the 5-footer, not this is a medium light, it says. This 5-footer right here.
Okay.
He was asking about the 5. I thought he was talking about the 14 since we were talking about it.
Hey, the winner of last week's rod is getting shipped out tomorrow. They've been gone some shows and stuff, so they were a little behind. But we'll give another one away next week. But I think it was Philip Dopp.
He's right. He's tuned in right now.
Yeah. Okay. He won it last week. So, buddy, I apologize for you not getting it this week, but next week you'll be busting some fish in the face with it.
I appreciate Brandon tuning in for YouTube. He's in the market for a new net. What's y'all's go-to?
All right, Shilo.
I like the original Outlaw net.
That's what I have.
The new Pro one, I've got it. It's all right. It's got a deeper basket. It's a little bit heavier on the end, but just the straight up regular Outlaw crappie monster net.
It's hard to beat, man. I've had to replace the nets, just from wear and tear, but they're hard to beat, man.
I go through about one net head every 2 years, unless
I agree 100%. That's what we use too. Shilo had a good stock of them in his truck. You still got them?
I still got about 10 or 12 of them.
There you go.
So, but yeah, I like it. What I did is, so Shane and John, you probably know about it, is I know John's seen it on mine. I took like the foam you buy at Lowe's or Ace Hardware, and I just wrap it around the net handle, zip tie it down so if it does fall out of your boat, it still floats.
Yeah, like a pool noodle. I guess you could use a pool noodle too, right?
Pool noodle, same thing. I've been trying to figure out a
pipe
way.
insulation. You're talking about pipe insulation, I can imagine.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out a way I can drill a small hole into the handle itself and spray foam it.
What's Shane drinking? Some sangria or something?
No, it's fruit punch, Crystal Light. I'm sorry, guys.
He's got it.
I made a hold my pinky out like this right here while I was there.
He's got him some red wine and.
No, this is actually Crystal Light, fruit punch, Crystal Light. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get all fruity on y'all.
Shane, it's over. We know you drink wine now.
I've got some in there. Don't think I don't. I don't drink it like the boss lady right there. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you, boys. Hey, we fished together at Miller's Ferry last year, and they brought the wine in first.
Hey, damn right. I don't even think at the state championship, I don't even think they made it back to the house. Actually, I know for a fact they didn't, because we stopped to get gas, and Jessica come up to my boat with I think a 18 pack of Michelob Ultra and just threw it on the boat and said, "You want one?" I'm done.
I will tell you all this: it doesn't matter if you're shoveling horse manure with John and Jessica, you're gonna have fun, and there's gonna be some drinking involved. Just fun. I mean, that don't make them bad people, I promise. So.
Especially when you throw Tim, myself, Kevin, and Jessica, and James Trott in the mix.
Oh Lord,
your ribs are gonna hurt for a week.
Absolutely.
Whether you're beating up a chair or falling on the floor, it don't matter.
Oh, Glenn Mize, check him out. He said, I just got the new power brakes installed on my boat. I haven't been able to try them out yet. Any tips on what I can expect with them?
You could back up like Terry.
That's right. Back up, Terry. That's exactly right. Man, I tell you, Glenn, it's first of all, you're going to forget you have them. I'll be honest with you. You're going to get to a fish and try to turn your trolling motor around. You're like, man, I got these brakes. You're going to do that a lot because I did.
Oh, I don't know. Everybody go watch a video on Shane's page or mine. They've got I'm being funny when I said this in the video, an adapter kit. It puts a roller over there so you can let those power brakes up and down with your with your power poles. I know it says game changer on the side of the power brakes, but man, it sure is nice. I was talking to Chad Clifton. He sent them to me around Christmas, and he said, I said, man, that was a heck of a Christmas present. I said, but it was Jessica's biggest Christmas present because she's the one that normally goes back there and lets the power brakes down. And so now we just let them up and down.
I'm going to duct tape your brakes to your power poles.
Yeah, you could. You could do that.
That way, when you go to press them, they don't go nowhere. You're gonna be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, Glenn, you did good by purchasing them, man. They're an asset tremendously, and you'll see, especially when the wind blows at your back a little bit, and you can just bump them and back up. You don't want to stay on them a lot. You just want to stay on them to stop. That's what they're meant for, to move you in increments, not just to hammer down on them. So
I try to wear mine out. I ride that button.
What's neat about them is we've always preached, keeping nose of your boat in the wind or upstream, into the current. I mean, you can go now, just let the wind drift you and stop your boat. It just adds so much more versatility to what you can do.
Yeah, I use them to turn my boat quickly. If I go left and hit those brakes, it's like a skid steer. You're gone. That's a neat thing about them also. But hey, Philip Dodson made a great comment, and it's so odd, guys. Bass fishermen are behind on technology. Like crappie fishermen use them for 2 or 3 years now, and they're just now starting to rig their boats.
We've got Shane, we've got a kid that's just started fishing our club. He's a stick. He's good. He's going to be a handful to mess with the next couple of years in the state club. He fishes all the MLFs, and he's like, his first time using brakes was December at the river, the upper end, and he's like, these are going on my bass rig. He's like, I can chase smallmouth with it. I could do, because that's how he's bass fishing. He's running around on 8 looking for suspended fish, and he's like,
that's exactly right.
Time. So he's putting them on his boat this year, and he's going to be one to watch out for. He's going to be
Josh. That's good. Josh Jones, he put them on his boat, and somebody just made a comment. Ben Milliken, he's going to put them on his fishing the elites, but for sure. Oh, we're not having the rod giveaway tonight, Carl. It'd be next show, buddy. He just asked.
Shane,
we'll be giving away.
The first time that Jessica and I saw somebody having trolling motors on the back of their boat, was it 2020 or 20? It was either 2020 or 2021 Crappie Masters National Championship out on Darbone. So whatever year the national championship was on Darbone was the first time that we saw somebody having trolling motors on the back of their boat. And
Terry Stewart. Terry Stewart.
Another guy, I can't remember his name, but I mean, I had to pull over. I wasn't trying to interrupt his practice or anything. I said, Bud, I can't help it. I got to ask why you got trolling motors on the back of your boat. And he told me, and I was like, damn, that makes sense, but I never would have guessed it would have caught on like it did. But
Terry was doing it before live scope, spider rigging out on Grenada. He was doing it before any of us realized what it was for. He was doing it on Grenada to spider rig.
Man, it makes so much sense. It's like paddles for the back of the boat spider rig. People that everybody that spider rig was like, golly, I want to slow down, because your jig wouldn't be running at the level you wanted, or your double minnow rigs wouldn't be running at the level you wanted, and you get ticked off and going downwind, and now everybody, people, it's amazing the things that the ingenuity that comes into to fishing.
Oh yeah, it's evolving, guys, and you necessarily have to have all this stuff, but I will tell you this: when you go on somebody's boat that has all these tools, it's going to be on your wish list. I promise you.
Well, it's like you see what Tomka, was it electronics they're doing now, installing the LVS 62s on the transom.
Yeah, they've been doing that. The Japanese have been doing that up at St. Lawrence for a year now. My buddy told me about that. What it is, they tell me, if you see a school of shad on your side scan, normal side scan, you can't see a fish in there as well in the middle. But when you go by them with that 64 transducer, 62, whatever it is, you can actually see that fish in the scope, and then approach him with your with your normal live scope. So it's getting crazy, man.
I know they posted a video of Jordan Lee. I think it was him. They were riding around in his boat, just looking with that live scope transducer. And it was amazing how clear and how fast it's picking stuff up. Oh yeah, idling.
You're talking about expensive. They're $3,000 a piece, and they're running one on each side. That's
everybody talks about that, but there's some more technology out there they're using, like in marlin tournaments and
yes, big time. Yes,
they're searching that way out. Once they get locked on that fish, I mean,
the units actually stay with the fish.
That's right.
Crazy.
Yeah, the poor marlin and stuff don't have a chance now with these people with money. They do not have a chance, man. I went fishing. I hunted in Gaydon, Louisiana, a couple weeks ago, and John, the guy that owns Sportsman's Charter, that's what he does in the summer, and it's crazy. Listen to him, you're just like, what? I mean, the technology, the gyros that keep it from rocking and all this just, I mean, they said they got $30,000-$40,000 of electronics and equipment on this thing, But we'll get off that because we could talk about that all night. So, Mr. Sonny Mooney, he said, John, can you explain how that MBT graph works, buddy?
Yes, sir. All right. So I like old Sonny. He's a cool cat now.
He is. Tell him what you got to have first, though, John, to run this thing.
Right.
So
to run the MBT screens, you have to have a Garmin screen that has an HDMI output. So just like in your TV, you got HDMI outputs. So in order to do that, like I have an 8412 graph. It's a 12-inch graph, 8000 series processor, and I have a HDMI cable coming from it plugged into the back of the MBT screen. So they're basically talking to each other. And it also has another port, and I can't remember exactly what it's called, which enables the touch screen to work on it. So a lot of people think that you can just put any Garmin screen with an MBT, but you cannot. And for anybody that's wanting to buy one, I'm about to sell my 16-inch MBT with my 8412 Garmin. So if you're in the market of buying something like that, let me know. I'm Jessica and I are getting a different graph. So I joked around about selling it, or not really necessarily joking around. I mentioned selling it, but we're about to actually execute on that. So if anybody wants to get it, there's nothing wrong with them. They work great. I caught 70-something fish with it today.
Yeah, I know what they're going with, and I understand. But yeah, it does mirror right off of it, just like having two screens on a computer. It worked flawlessly. Mitch is a good guy from MBT. He's sharp. That thing has a great warranty on it too. They can actually fix those things. So it's crazy, the technology, guys. It's just coming out. It's crazy. Like Mike Hill saying, 5 years you might be able to identify the fish. It might name it for you. That's a carp. Yeah. That's all mine's gonna say. That's a carp. That's a carp. That's a carp.
That's a goo. That's a crappie.
That's a high floater. Get your 30-second out, you dumb. I need to be the voice for it. That's what I need to do. I need to, like Siri, because it would be you couldn't have your kids in a boat. I promise you that. Oh man.
Adventure.
What? Oh, okay. So normally in Alabama we don't have this cold of weather.
No.
Right. So if you own lithium batteries.
Oh yeah, this is a great story, guys.
Okay, there's certain thresholds with lithium batteries. I have my lithiums charging with a power pole charger. And once they get to a certain temperature, it says, hey, dumbass, don't use me. I'm too low of a temperature and I need to be warmed up. I'm a lithium battery. Well, so I get up this morning, all my batteries were red. And I was like, man, I want to go fishing. What can I do? So I took the pole and the back mount of my boat and had a seat back there. And I opened my battery compartment and I put a space heater down in there. And then I put 2 blankets over the seat. So basically, I made a tent over the back of my boat and I heated my lithium batteries up with a space heater. And once they showed green, I went fishing.
That's awesome. Yeah. What kind of space heater? What, ceramic or what was it?
Yeah, it was little ceramic ones.
Yeah.
This is one of those we need to do not try this at home.
Heater.
Oh yeah, it was one of the ones on the bus.
What was the name of the bus? Somebody just asked that. What was the name of the bus?
Slab Shack.
Slab Shack. That's what it was called. Yes. Somebody asked. Patrick Garner asked, "Did y'all name the bus?" Thank you, Patrick.
Yep. Jessica and Creek finally came to an agreement. Creek has some crazy names, but
I can imagine. I can imagine. That's a great tip, you know, because you don't run into it much here though. I mean, that might be once a year thing, you know, running into it.
Yeah.
Temperature because it stayed below freezing for, you know, I don't know how many hours. It was a long time. So
long enough.
Those lithiums, they don't like that cold. So
no, they do not. They do all that protect them. They've got chips in them that protect them. You know, it's more technology. Speaking of lithiums, guys, I know this is kind of off the subject. How many Teslas were stranded up in Illinois and all that stuff at those charging stations?
You just had to
Golly.
say,
huh?
You just had to say Illinois, didn't you?
Well, that's where they were.
What a
I'm
state
sorry.
to pick, Shane. What a state to pick.
That's where they were in Chicago. They were because they couldn't even charge. I mean,
Now,
my God,
Chicago's its own state.
True.
Don't wrap that into Illinois. Actually, when you talk about Chicago, you pronounce the S, Illinois. That's
Hey,
Shane,
Shiloh's got to own Illinois too. He's from it. Excuse me,
Alabama now.
Chicago too.
He'll be like my buddy Rob. He's been here for about 20 years, and now he sounds a lot more like me than he does up there, where you know, outside of St. Louis. You know.
I'll start saying crappie before you know it.
Oh man, that's good stuff, guys, man. Oh.
I always laugh like everywhere we go. Like we've been to the expo. Jessica and I have been to tournaments, you know, throughout the country. And the first time you say crappie, everybody's like, "Oh, you're from Alabama."
Or Georgia, somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. I guess we're gonna get to. Go ahead, Shiloh.
I caught myself saying a seminar up in Collinsville.
Oh yeah. Oh, he just got through doing a seminar. Matter of fact, we have to.
I did it. I'm like, oh crap! I'm not from here anymore.
We're gonna have to make that expo, man, because y'all said it was a big time. It was.
Dude, that one's huge. We definitely need like CrappieKast needs a booth up there next year.
Well, it'll be what, the 1st of January next year?
Generally the first weekend of January. It's really not a bad drive. It's 6.5 hours.
That's
for us.
I'm flying.
John would be able.
That ain't no problem with me. Heck,
we can fly. We can fly John into St. Louis to pick him up.
There you go.
You don't
want to leave him overnight up there.
Yeah, my spinal column cannot take those long rides anymore.
It's going to in February.
Oh, that is true.
You'll have to get some. You'll have to get him something to subside. Get him some of that wine from Jessica and let him sip.
Yeah.
They don't have to pee all the time. You have to get him one of them you have to get him a tub or something.
John, call me. Where you at? I'm Texas. Where
I'm,
you at? I'm just now at the Alabama line.
I'm gonna go get that neck and that back injection the week before that trip.
There you go. Oh yeah, that's awesome, man.
We're gonna end up all together in the end.
Yeah, we're gonna be at Grenada right there the 21st and 22nd, and I hope we're snagging 3-pounders. I'm gonna be in the boat with Shiloh, so
it's gonna be fun.
Jay, you don't want to take the your own wagon?
No. The slab sled will be staying here. I'll jump right in there. No, I'll bring it. Hey, I'll bring it just in case something happens. You'll never know. So.
Yeah,
if we're going to be long riding, I'll let Shiloh drive because I know that's what it's going to be, a stiff arm hanging out there.
Oh, we're going to
long ride fest. I'll get me one of them braces. I think I got a brace where I tore my bicep. I'll get that thing out and lock it down.
You get to mess up twice. The second one, you're going back in the back of the boat.
I'll do it. Don't think I won't. Oh, man.
Oh.
Let's see. That's a pretty good question. Go ahead, John.
We're going to end up being gone, I think, 8 days.
Yeah, we're leaving the 16th.
Through the whole trip. I don't want to jinx us by saying we're going to catch them 3-pounders, but I feel like we're going to catch them 3-pounders.
If not, John and I are going to have a hell of a time.
Yeah, we're going to be pissed off with each other if we don't. But we're going to work effectively together to.
It should be y'all. It should be y'all need to document a lot of that because that's going to be an epic trip. I promise you. So
I probably need to buy a couple of SD cards so I can just.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got a buddy. So Jason, he's bringing Yellow Tech, and we're gonna have cameras on the boat. It's gonna be a
There
good
you
time.
go.
We're gonna have to find a chair to abuse while we're there at each Airbnb. So
Shilo has the worst look in the world with chairs.
Yeah, it's kind of
they get beat up. It's just.
If I could have got that camera out just a little bit quicker that one time, Shilo said, "Oh no."
Nothing beats the one at the state championship, though. Everybody knocked that chair over.
Damn right they did.
I'm shocked we didn't get a bill for that one.
Goodness. So Scooter Childers got a great question. Is there a big difference in clarity between the Garmin 126 and 8616 with the LVS 34?
Okay.
He said he's been told the 126 can't process as much as the 86 can, but
it's pixels is what it is. The 8000 series has got more pixels. It's like comparing TVs. You walk into Walmart, they got them all up on the wall. And you say, "Oh, that's nice. That's not. Damn, that one's that's clear." Does it help you catch more fish? I'm not going to necessarily say that.
John, I want to build on that though too. And unless you're tournament fishing, you're trying to move 2.5, 3 mile an hour. Use what you're comfortable with. If you're used to a 1222 with dial or a 126 with the touch screen, use what you're comfortable with. There's no reason because what is the 8612 or the 16? I know the 16's right at $5,000, right?
$6,000.
6 now? Okay, so the
59, 90, whatever.
The 8612 is probably right around 4,500, and that's what I use. But I'm on the water day in and day out, and that's what I'm tournament fishing, so I want it to go as fast as it can keep up with me. But in the end, if you're just happy with it catching fish, there's no reason to go from a 126 to an 8612 or 16.
Oh yeah.
Good, really, really good points. We had a conversation at the expo in Birmingham. Richard Falk and I was sitting there talking, and we were talking about everybody's like, "Oh, I want my screen to be clean or this, that, and other." I said, "Richard, you ever want to just say people, as long as you can see your jig and the fish all in the same picture, and you're getting the fish to address your bait, you're good. Don't worry about how clean my screen is, or I think I got a little dead spot. Catch him out of the dead spot." But Richard said the same thing. He said, I've had that 22-inch screen for years. He said, I've told people the same thing. He said, as long as you can see your bait and the fish, you're doing something right.
Like you're right, John. Like, don't forget the feel of fishing, guys. People's like, I can't see my jig. You get a dead spot. Hey, man, keep that same cadence. You're still fishing, guys. Don't rely on that screen that much. Like, don't just stop your reeling and just, I can't see my jig and panic. Keep moving it, because if that fish is addressing it, he might smoke it. And I try to preach that a lot to everybody I carry out. It's like, hey, if you lose your jig, man, just keep moving it,
I catch more fish off a ghost tree than I do a real tree. Be honest.
That's a great point, guys. If you're using live scope, that's. But like I said, don't forget how to fish. Even you got that bait moving, that fish comes up, starts smoking your bait, looking at your bait and moving, and if you don't see it, a lot of people just want to quit reeling and let it go to the bottom. No, man, keep reeling that thing. Speed it up a notch or whatever.
Build on that. I keep telling Tim this spring, I said, I'm going to run trips without live scope. I'm going to go find fish that are pulled up on rocks, spawning on beds, and that way clients aren't like, well, what are we going to go do today? I said, well, we're all going to fish. We're all going to pitch a cork at these rocks and pop it back.
Well, I ran one trip last year. I pinched my transducer in half, and the guy said, we going home? I said, no, man, we finna fish. It was him and his girlfriend, and we went out and kept almost 40 fish. Man, we had a blast just beating the tops like I used to do with the jig,
That's all.
Well, during the spawn, if the fish are in the grass or up close, you can put the live scope however you want to put it, but you can go down the bank with a cord.
Yeah.
And the jig a foot below the cord to a foot and a half below the cord. just go down any little thing you see and catch the hell out of them.
Because
that's where they are.
Because at the end of the day, 90% of people out there crappie fishing are going to fill that freezer.
Absolutely.
Exactly right.
That's it. That's all they're doing. So what's the point of going out there and chasing those giants around when you can just go catch a bunch of 10 to 12-inch fish?
True.
And most people, a 12-inch fish is a giant to them.
Yeah.
When you stumble across that 13, 14, 15-inch fish, then you're starting to get into upper class. And I still say it, a 2-pound fish is still a trophy fish.
I mean, it is.
It
is.
still
A
is.
2-pound fish is a big fish.
A lot of people don't realize how big a 2-pound fish is till they put it in the boat.
True.
Until you look across them shoulders and see how thick that fish is, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a 2-pound, 3-ounce fish with my fat head looks big. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could hold it up next to me and you could tell it's got substantial, even against me. So it is a big fish,
And you'll hear, I know John, we talk about it all the time, is, that fish was on a 2-pound frame, but he only weighed 170, 180.
Slim, yeah.
I run across that so much, but until you put them on a scale, you never know. But when you've seen as many 2-pound fish as John, Shane, and I have, when you catch that 2-pounder, you're like, that's a 2-pound fish.
Yeah, you feel it and you know it when you see them. That's exactly right. You can.
Yeah. When that rod loads up, that's when you can, But you know what? A pound and a quarter fish to me fights harder than those big ones do.
Yeah,
it's just load up on those big fish. Like yesterday, I caught a 231 yesterday, and the fish didn't hardly fight.
I'll tell you what, now, them ones in Lake Talcon and Seminole, they gonna give you hell, son. I mean. You can't tell what you got. You really don't know. You're like 2-pounder, a pound a quarter. You don't even know.
That's with them short poles. Now, you hit them with a long pole. Generally, when it's me, they just take slide anyways because it's 2-pound, pound and a quarter. I will say those fish in Florida, though, they don't matter. They could be 9 inches, and they're going to fight like a dang 2-pound.
They got more digs. Yeah.
And
they do. You're exactly right.
You guys think them Talcon and Seminole fish got dig to them? Go to the St. John's. When they get in that current, holy crap.
They use those manatees.
The manatees are fast. I will say that. But, that tournament down there that I won, I caught, I think day 2's 16 or 17 2-pound fish. But the thing was, when I hit one, I'm like, that's a stinking 3-pound fish. Just because that's how hard they fight down there. They're them big black ones. When they get them shoulders turned, it's hard to turn them back.
Them things are black as this microphone, too. They're just black.
They're black and golden. That right there is probably the prettiest fish in the country down there.
I want Tommy lives down there, not in Live Oak. I don't know how far it is to St. John's. It's not super far. I need to get down there before they get off that main river and stuff.
The only thing that bothers me about down there is I heard you can't really run your boat because the manatee, they got a certain no wake or something. Or, well, although I know you went full sin, but
no, there's not so on the main river itself, you can run. They got little stretches that are half-mile long that are, manatee zones. I think it's like January 15th through the end of February where they're migrating through. They just want you to idle, and it's not really the river itself as much as the mud lakes off the river. They got those canals, so those manatees are really migrating through those canals, those shallow flats, and they just want you to idle across them. And once you get actually into the big bowl lakes, you can run, or if you're on the river, you can run.
Yeah, let's get this last question here. We done been on here an hour anyway. What is the best technique for catching 2-pound plus on the Coosa? Right now.
Right now. It's going to depend a lot on your water clarity. Right now, with all the rain we've had, this cold weather, I'm really going to be checking the flats in 6 to 12 foot, looking for those floating fish, those roamers. If it was a little clearer and they probably weren't pulling as much current, I would be looking on the edge of the river channel, anywhere from where it breaks over from 10 to 20, 25 foot. Any kind of root ball or stump, piece of standing timber down through there. That's mainly what I'd be looking for. But with how cold it's been, if we get some sun, I'm gonna be looking at the flats or floaters in over that 15 foot of water up high, moving around.
What do you think next week's going to do to it, guys? It's supposed to be in the 60s and rain a little bit. I mean, water's going to warm back up. So
I just want to say this: all the rain we're coming in, if you look at the temperature, is supposed to be above 50 degrees. That's a warm rain, and fish are going to the backs of the creeks. They're going. They're going to feel it after all this cold we just had. They're going to feel that influx of warm water, and they're going to it.
Well, and the biggest thing is going to be your clarity to get the fish back together, or where they're going to be spread out. So we've got rain coming in, but on the Coosa, I'd get in some of those bigger creeks at the mouth of the sloughs off the bigger creeks, and that's where the fish are going to be. And, that's where I would start. And then, just look for bigger profiles. But right now, the muddier water's got them spread out. And it might help you in looking for those 2-pounders, because they're going to be, off to themselves rather than a big school. So it might actually help you.
Yeah, I'll tell you straight up, if we're on the upper Coosa right now, Neely, Weiss, I'm going to the back of Canoe Creek. I'm not even going to hide it. That's where I'm going to go. There's a bunch of fish that live there, and there's big fish that live there. I
was thinking exactly what you said.
There you go, guys. If you fish Neely Henry, there you go.
Most people that know, when I fish Neely, the first place I go is I'm going to Canoe Creek.
Or, if you're on late, or if you're on late, you can get back in some of those bigger creeks on late, or on Jordan, the same thing.
Like if you were to go to Logan right now, I'm gonna go to the back of Cropwell or Clear Creek. If I'd go upriver and check some of them shallow creeks where all that fresh muddy water is. Because you got to think they're going to be pulling some water out of Neely, which is going to cause current on that upper end of Logan. Them fish, crappie don't like current. They just don't. They're going to go sit in those seams. They're going to go up in those creeks that got 6 to 10 foot of water in them. The bait's going to be there. The fish are going to be there. So
that's true, man. We still got 107 people on here. We'll keep going. We'll shut it off at 1:15 if y'all want to. We got 5, 6, 7 more minutes.
Hey,
go ahead, John.
I'm good. The interesting thing about that Coosa chain is Shiloh's talking about the northern portion of it, and he's still got those white fish and blackfish up there. The further south you go on the Coosa chain, it's just black crappie. And once you get into black crappie, and Shiloh's dealt with it enough now, he's living in Alabama, you've got different patterns. So it might not necessarily be that muddy water backing up. It might be.
That's Jordan. I'd be still looking for them high, but I'd be casting out. I'd be staying off of them 40, 50, 60 feet. Whereas Neely, in Jordan, you're not going to catch very many whites. Any good ones, if that.
If you catch one.
If you catch one.
Yeah.
Like Neely, you could go to the back of the canoe and you can catch a 2-pound black and a 2-pound white within 30 feet of each other. Weiss the same way. You could get on the same stretch of river channel Weiss, and every 10 feet catch a white or a black. It's just we've got a lot of whites up here. Same with Gunnersville. Gunnersville's got a lot of big whites in it. I don't know where they are, but we've got them.
Let's see, Scooter Childers, he wants to know what is your go-to setup rod length, weight, and line when fishing a 64th in shallow water. I guess he's talking about your long rod, basically, when the only time you really use a 64th, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't change anything. I stay with 14-pound fluorocarbon, especially if they're going to let me set it right on their nose. It's going to be a 64th 14-pound fluorocarbon, half-ounce tungsten weight. Anywhere, if it's muddy water, I'll try 4 inches to 8 inches above that bait. That way I can get it right on that fish's nose real tight. And I'm still going to use a 15-foot rod. Now, if they're wanting that bait moving, they got a little bit of eyesight to them, I'm going to use probably just a straight 16th. No weight above it. Like John was saying, he's running a quarter now. I'm probably going to run a straight 16th and just pitch at them and let it come across their head when they turn on it. I'm going to keep that bait moving until they eat it.
Yeah, you do that with a lot of your long rod too. Pitch a 16 sometimes.
Yeah. That long rod's really versatile. I mean, you can do just
yeah. It's what, like you said, it's what you're comfortable with. Because I've carried people fishing that couldn't cast real accurate, but you put a long rod in their hand, they'd pitch right on the fish. You're just like,
I'll never forget Dale Hollow. After the tournament, Frank Heiderstrack called me. He said, I caught a 2-pounder with a 13-foot war pig 40 feet from the boat. I was like, what? He's like, I casted my 13-foot rod, let it fall 40 feet down, and caught a 2-pounder off of it. I'm like, okay, you casting a 13-foot rod, but you can use them any way you want. You could pitch a cork with them up on the rocks. You can use them in the live scope. You can drop shot with them, stick them way back in a dock, John.
But here's the deal with Frank doing that. That's what Frank has in his hand all the time.
All the time, exactly. That's his rod.
What he's comfortable with.
Right.
If I could cast with a 15-footer, y'all be in trouble.
Buddy, whenever you start shooting docks with a 15-footer, I'm gonna be on the back doing video, and I will make some money.
I'm gonna start practicing tomorrow.
Oh man, that's awesome.
But no, just use what you're comfortable with.
That's right.
And when you get so comfortable, say with a quarter and a 16th, or just a 16th ounce jig head, and you want to fish faster, put the quarter on there, then put a half. And the faster you go, the more opportunities you're creating for yourself throughout that day to catch a fish. The more opportunities, more fish in your live well. So.
We're talking about shooting docks. If you don't practice like shooting a jig, Shane's got a great video he's doing in the yard. That's one of the first YouTube videos you came out with, Shane. Just pick a target, as far as like shooting a jig.
That's right.
And it'll help you a lot once you get on the water. Just pick a target in the yard with that jig. And it's the most, like, Shilo, you cast overhand, don't you, with a short rod? Or do you shoot?
Both.
Both.
I'm just as comfortable casting overhand as I am shooting.
Okay.
Yeah, we got this discussion. Me and Neil Ford got in this discussion this weekend. He was like, man, I want you to show me how to shoot the jig. And John's made this point a bunch of times too. When you shoot it and it's windy, your line's way off it's not as far off the water. Don't have a big loop in it. Like Shilo said, when you overhand cast, the conditions got to be set up for that.
Yeah, you can't. If it's windy, I'm gonna shoot that jig.
Exactly.
But I like to cast. When I'm casting far.
Right. You're really getting out there.
I'm zooming out 80 feet, and when I see that fish at 70, he's gonna be looking at a jig before he gets to 65. That's
God. You better.
I'm clean. I'm firing away. I got cannons on the front of the boat, but it's just.
But I mean, you're exactly right.
But living on Gunnerville, those fish, and John, I don't know how it is down there as much, but I noticed Wednesday, the further I could get those fish to chase the bait, the more they would eat it. If I could hit them at 55 or 60, they would chase it all the way to 5 feet and then eat it.
Golly.
My problem is, like, I feel like 35 and in is my comfortable zone of bait presentation. Like, where I feel like I'm giving the best, not messing it up or keeping the fish coming up, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I won't make those longer distance throws because I feel like we do better in that range.
But that's what you're comfortable with. That's what I'm getting back to is if you're comfortable casting 25 to 30 feet, if it's working, it's working.
Yeah, what jig are you throwing that for, Shilo? 60, 70 feet. Corey was at. Really? 16. You whip it. But you're also throwing it on 4-pound line most of the time, right? There's the trick.
That 4-pound line is less resistance. Same. And now when I'm running that braid down to 2-pound, it's stretch to get that bait out 50 feet. But the cool thing about that braid, and John, I know you see it all the time, is when, especially around that 2-pound leader, I'm able to let that bait fall fast, the 16th, the 8th, whatever. But that braid has so much resistance in the water that you can pop that braid down to that bait, and that bait will just sit there and stall. And it stalls longer because that braid doesn't want to sink as fast.
I do that with an 8th a lot, especially you stall. You get it right above the fish and just whoa, and then it just goes right on top of the fish.
You can do it really good with that braid and 2-pound setup, and that fish. I never thought 2-pound would make much of a difference, but it's made a believer out of it.
I've used some 2-pound stuff. You have to retie a lot when you catch some fish, don't you? They swallow it, really?
I just bring them on back. Fire back.
It's balls to the wall, man.
There's only certain times where I'm retying a lot, and it's if I'm fishing timber, like thick timber.
Yeah.
I don't know if John's seen me, but Tim, he's like, why do you always have your line in your hand? Well, when I'm looking for that next fish, I'm feeling from my jig. I'm not looking at it. I'm feeling that knot all the way up to my weight and then about 6 inches above it, because I'm feeling for any rough patches. If I don't like something, my scissors are right there. I'll pop it, retie real quick. It don't take me but 10 seconds to tie a polymer knot.
Oh yeah. You're exactly right. That what are you tying a polymer knot on the 2-pound line? Bill Ollie just asked that.
2-pound on polymer, 2-pound on my long rod. The only time I don't tie a polymer is when I'm using a rattle. I'll tie a rattle into my loop knot.
Put the loop, yeah.
The only time
I know John uses polymer too. I use a loop a little bit on that 4-pound. I use a loop a little bit, especially with the K9, the fluorocarbon. I use, especially throwing that ghost. I use it a lot. So.
Shilo, I got a place I'll take you fishing. I probably you'll be retying.
That 2-pound line ain't gonna them sharks down there. No,
we're good.
Okay.
I'll just send it. I don't care. If they break off, they break off.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fish with the jigs in their mouth around there.
Yeah, but I will say when we fished the state championship down there, I think Tim got tired of me retying because it was almost after every fish I did retie.
All right, yeah, you have to be cautious. That's exactly right, man.
I was fishing thick crap too, and John knows what I was fishing down there.
Yeah,
which I've learned that creek only holds fish certain times of the year, I guess, and that's the only time of the year is June.
I didn't even go in there. I just rode right.
Nobody did. I went in there, and when I told you I found them in Cypress, John's like, "You did what?" And I've talked to Eric and Brandon and all of them about it, and they're like, "There's never fish in there. Like, how did you do that?"
Just a timing thing, man.
I just come across them in that, but there wasn't a lot there. There was one. If I was going down there to catch a lot of fish, I would not have been going there.
Right.
I've been going.
If you want a lot of fish, the Alabama River is not normally the place.
No, exactly. It is great when it's great, and it's bad when it's bad, and it's inconsistent. I will tell you that. Me and Big Daddy discussed that a bunch of times. You can go down there and sack them, and then next day you're going to catch a third of what you caught, But except in the spring, it's a lot more predictable,
I call it a hero and a zero.
That's exactly right, guys. Man, I appreciate everybody tuning in. We had 30 people here at one time. There's still 94 tuned in. We've been an hour and 18 minutes. I mean, we could talk all night, guys, but you need to spend time with your families and get off this old silly social media because I'm guilty of it myself, And we appreciate all y'all. Thank all y'all for tuning in. Thanks for the questions, guys. Appreciate Shilo coming on here and dropping all information. And, when we get together, it helps John and I just memory click more when Shilo gets on here talking about stuff. It reminds us of different points and tips. And even Jessica, Jessica does the same thing too. She'll kind of look at John a certain way. He knows exactly what, she's thinking before she even said anything. They've been together so long. So it helps the show just go on. So
real quick before you end it, Shane, just
go ahead.
Anybody out there that does have questions that we didn't answer, reach out to us. I'm an open book. John could call me or I could call John, and we're going to tell each other exactly how we're fishing. I would talk to, Bill Lawley, who's been on Guy Trip with me. If he was to call me 10 minutes from now, I would tell him everything I'm doing and what I know. I don't care. I'm not in the business of hiding. How I'm.
No, that don't get you anywhere. It's a sharing community. This is a sharing show. So
I want everybody to go out there and catch them. That's
exactly right.
At the end of
We
the
like
day,
to get pictures. We like to get pictures, guys, and success stories. But like I said, we'll try to get to some of these questions we missed. I'm sure we missed some, guys, even though the shows ran over. But appreciate y'all. We'll be back next Thursday. We'll be giving a rod away, Outlaw 5-foot casting rod, and answering questions, and be right back. We'll have some tales to tell. Everybody's I'm headed back to Florida. John, where you fishing this weekend?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Shilo, what about you, man? You got trips to run this weekend, or are you gonna be fun fishing? What you got going on?
I'm gonna be hoping I can get my boat down the mountain to put into the lake with this
There
cold.
you go. Man, I understand it has been cold, man. I appreciate all y'all guys. We're going to end the show. Stay on here, Shilo. Thank you, John and Jessica, as always. A great show. I enjoyed it. Now, this is I look forward to this Thursday night. I really do. I get a little antsy when I leave the gym. I'm watching my phone. We'll see y'all next Thursday, guys.